Awesome. Okay. Again, this is Ignite 2 Spark lead, understand lead generation model. So we're going to wrap this up in about 55 minutes today, and then we're going to jump on the call with Dr. Kevin Elko. And if you guys did not register for that, Slade shared it in our Facebook group. So that'll be really powerful today. The goal of Spark, again, is for you guys to get your appointments and line them up and to get someone under agreement in your first month. So the results of this will be you guys getting an appointment. That's the whole idea, is getting you lined up for business. So every single session is going to be built around building a database, practicing scripts, contacting clients or prospective clients, and getting to know your market. So that will make you establish the core activities and habits that you're going to use for the rest of your real estate career. So, all right. All right, every single day we're going to go over this slide, and it's what successful agents do every day. So again, we talked about there is no secret to what successful agents do. This is exactly what is that success. So every day, agents that are successful do 2 types of activities. They grow their business and they run their business. So the goal of our time here is to model what the successful agents do. So what we're going to focus on today is lead generate for buyers and sellers, and that is growing your business. Okay. The lead generation model comes from the MREA, and this is our time for today's class. I'm going to mute everybody to make sure that we can. There's no feedback. Okay, everybody's muted. Cool. Well, now I've got to get it to go away. All right, perfect. Okay, so here's the big picture. This is the new lead generation model diagram. It's got all of the same content from the original from MREA. Now this was, I don't know if you guys know this, but MREA 2 is being written. We don't know when that will be published and released. This diagram and some of the data used in the new Ignite material is for the MREA 2. So it's just updating a lot of it. The foundations are the same. It's just modifying and updating. So what do you guys, I want people to unmute and tell me what you know about the lead generation model, whether you've read it from MREA or that you have heard it in classes or taken a previous Ignite. What is the lead generation model to you? And you can just say it in your words. Tiffany?
Well, I guess I can say it's the process of converting I don't know. I kind of want to say like it's just the process of converting someone, a lead into a client, into a
It takes your activities and it puts everybody into a category, and that's why it's a funnel shape. So everybody's going into the funnel or the bucket, and it's coming out as a cycle.
Gotcha.
And so it's where the big picture of how each activity categorizes people and allows you to move through and do business with them. So, and this is what's going to fund your big why. Understanding this is going to help you get to that financial goal that you have to fund your why. So your business is clearly affected by each one here, each of them. So you have at the very top, if you look on the left side, it's got lead generation, database, sales pipeline. So that's how your lead generation is your prospecting and marketing, and we're going to break all this down more specifically. Then the second stance there in the wide funnel is the database. So you have leads and you have contacts, and then down lower it narrows, and that is your sales pipeline, where you're cultivating those relationships to the point of business, right? So you got your appointment, you got your active agreements, whether it's a listing agreement or a buyer, and then someone is under contract, and then you close. And you know what? They don't just go off into, Neverland. They come back into the funnel, and you create lifetime clients. So we're going to go into a lot more detail of that, but that's just the overview. And here's a larger image of that. And this is focused on the solo agent model, the individual agent. So there's 3 of the phases that we talked about. You have lead generation, you have database, and then you have sales pipeline. Each of those phases have the activities inside of those. So with prospecting and marketing, you go out and find leads. Is prospecting, you find leads. Marketing is when you attract leads. Let's see. You're not working on one-time business. It's important to know that you're working on new, repeat, and referral. New, repeat, and referral. Okay. And then your sphere of influence goes into that, because that's the people that you already know. And you're getting new, repeat, and referral. In your database, leads and contacts are broken into 2 different parts, because you'll be working with and communicating with them differently. So leads is your tracking and your offering, and it's a one-way, and it's offer-based. I can offer this to you. When they move to the contact, it's because you're connected with them. You have interactive. It's a 2-way communication, and you're adding value to them based on them communicating back with you. Okay. And then the sales pipeline is the bottom. So once a lead or contact has raised their hand and said, I want to do business with you, you then put them in a timeline to close the deal, to close the business. So you're moving them through appointment, active, under contract, and closed. And then, of course, we mentioned it goes back into the funnel once you've closed transactions, so that the relationship doesn't just end. And like we talked about on the wave diagram yesterday, you're not just going to wait 7 years and call them back up and go, hey, you ready to move again? There is remaining into that relationship, so that you're always adding value to them. Does anybody have an aha from this diagram? Vicki and Marisha, I can't see your faces, but I'm not letting you guys off the hook. And Marisha, I know you have a 2-year-old, so I'm going to give you a little grace. What does that mean to you, Vicki? You have to unmute yourself. Are you with us? Vicki. All right, Shakira, what does that mean to you? Unmute. There you go.
I mean, like, what does lead generation model mean to me?
What is this diagram? What ahas have you gotten from us talking about just this idea of a lead generation diagram, and the funnel and all of that?
I don't know if I got an aha for that. I more so had the aha yesterday, because I did make sure I went and reached out to some people, like my friends and things, and I found out a lot of things, that a lot of people are looking to move in the next few months or a year or so. And so those leads led to my contacts. I did add a lot of those into my contacts last night. And it just helped me realize, even though they're my friends and I talk to a lot of them a few times a week, that I didn't really realize that they were ready or looking to move. So when I started talking about these things and the market and everything right now, they were like, oh, okay, so this is still possible for us in the next few months. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, well, and unless you have the conversations with them
Hmm.
and you're specifically asking, I think sometimes, we assume they know we're agents or realtors or whatever, and so they'll bring it up. But you know what? It's really kind of on us to occasionally at least mention it, right?
Yes.
So that it's part of the relationship and part of the value. If you were um, I think almost any other industry that if we were in and we realized we could add value to people, we would be talking about it. But
Hmm.
for some reason, real estate agents tend to back off and go, oh, I'm just not going to mention real estate. I'm not going to mention real estate. I'm not going to mention real estate, and they may be, hairdressers or work at restaurants or whatever. And they're just talking about it and you are loving it and you are, helping and supporting whatever that is. Yet as agents, we sometimes have that limited mindset. We don't want to talk about it. And we just need to know that sometimes when we have these conversations, we may be helping somebody and they may actually go seek with somebody else because they're like, well, I don't want to bother Shacarol. I'm sure she's got other things going on. So
Because I
that's awesome.
realized a lot of people, I told them that I was getting my real estate license, but I don't think I ever really followed up and said, hey, I got my license now. So
Yeah.
that was another thing I realized I didn't do.
Yeah. And in this too is, you can see why you're having the conversation. And if they weren't in your database, you wouldn't be reminded to have the conversation. So that's why it's really important to take your sphere and make sure that they're in there so that you can then categorize them. You're still going to be bringing them value and you're still not going to be pushing anything on them that they don't want. That's why it's win-win. But if they're not in there, then you're going to forget to touch on them and to love on them and to bring them value. Marisha has chatted with us. She said, I've learned to reach out more in this technology age and promote myself. I wasn't doing that because I didn't want to push it on anyone. So now instead of going, I'm an agent, I'm asking questions about housing or credit, and I'll slip in that I'm an agent now. Yeah, I mean, you're having these conversations of, how can I help you? And people right now are so desperate for that. If you watch any amount of news right now, you're seeing how people are. I mean, the loneliness is being, it's out there with people being at home, and we're greatly blessed, yet people are having really hard times. And so it's important for us to reach out and talk to people and communicate with them. And it's not, hey, are you interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? It's how are you and how can I help you? Then when they bring it up, it opens up the conversation. Yet, like you're saying, Shacarol, if you just have your friend group or your sphere, as we call them, and you never put them into your database, you may be neglecting and not realizing that you're doing that because you're not intentionally leaving them out. But it ends up what happens, and then you're going to get your feelings hurt when you see them on Facebook post that they bought or sold with somebody else, But if we're not having those talks with them or opening the door for those conversations, then that's what's going to happen. Okay, so we're going to move to the next slide. So lead generation, we talked about prospecting and marketing, and we're going to go into that in more detail. So the top of the funnel here, this should never, ever, ever, ever stop. Okay, so this is purposeful and this is intentional, and this is what you're doing every single day. So prospecting is active lead generation. You're calling, you're tracking down leads, okay? And then marketing is more of a passive, if you think about that. You're attracting leads and then you're expecting your phone to ring. So how do you guys think agents that perform at a high level successfully use lead generation? How do you think that successful agents use it?
I think that they do more, or I guess they spend more time prospecting, and the marketing is kind of like a passive thing. Mm-hmm. Or I guess just kind of based off of what I see. I think we see the marketing, but we don't see the prospecting that they do. And so a lot of like very successful agents, they I think the part that we see is the marketing. So we
Yeah.
just feel like all of their business comes from them being on social media or their signs, but a lot of it actually comes from the prospecting, them reaching out to people, them making the calls and things like that.
Yeah. So the billboards per se, we'll just use that as an example. We may
Mm-hmm.
think of someone as a successful agent because they have some of that advertising, the presence that you see driving down the road. But
Mm-hmm.
as you see that driving down the road, is that what is getting them listings? Is that what is getting them buyers? A majority of that is not actually. A majority is from them, calling. And successful agents that I've been around, that I've been going to family reunion and mega camp and things like that, their day-to-day life is they've got headsets on and they are calling. So, and they have people on their team that are also doing the same thing. It's not having enough money to get a billboard. It's about sitting down with what you have and the resources that you have now, and then you just expound upon that once you bring it in. But you have to, it's not attractive and glamorous, right? It's not what's that show on Bravo, Millionaire, whatever it is, Sells New York, or you know what I'm talking about. It's not the glamorous showing of the condos and this, that, and the other. It's the sitting down doing the work that nobody else really wants to do. And that's what's going to build your success. That's what they have learned to do at a high level. And I wore my shirt yesterday that said, real estate is a contact sport.
Yep.
It is, right? However you're doing that, you need to be communicating and speaking with people. All right. So we have a video. Let's see. It says we have a video. Where is the video? Slide contains a video. Guys, it just asked for my microphone. I don't know what that's about. Thank y'all for being patient with me. This is a whole new everything. Lead generation video. I'm gonna get it for you guys. Just one moment. How about right there? All right, I hope this is the right video. Let's see.
Lead generation is the first thing you should do. Make those calls.
I took what I already knew and how I would go and shop for a house and just applied it to them.
It's a numbers game, If you can track how many people you're calling in a day and how many hours you're doing this, there's a formula.
Make those calls.
I used those things that I did innately to attract my clients.
I became a hyper-local expert in the military because I am a military spouse. The two key things that I did to generate the most success for me were social media and open houses because I didn't have the database like everybody else did. So I had to find ways that I could get in front of people fast and also something that would be maybe have the buyer or seller be ready and willing to buy now versus later. And I'm lead generating specifically in an area that is military friendly, military heavy. It really is in the follow-up. Be present in their lives, build a relationship. Don't just ask for business every single time you see them. Be present in their lives, build the relationship. The least effective marketing activities for me were cold calling. And that's just because my niche market, they're not going to be already local. They're going to be moving from other bases. Then I decided, well, if I'm going to leverage cold calling, let's do it more purposeful, and let's do it only in my niche market where I know that there's military there. They're likely to buy or sell in 3 to 4 years. Mindset was a huge part of my success. One of the things I tell myself for an open house is one good lead every time. And so I start that action at least a week beforehand. I do a social media campaign. I follow up with all the likes and comments. And then I do a door knock around the open house. And then I follow up with anybody who is active at the open house. And usually that results in at least one buyer or seller leads, usually more.
So my first year, obviously, you know, the minute I made the change, it's super scary. I've got a network of people still reaching out to me to, you know, help them with what I was doing before, which was post-production. And I knew that my job in the beginning of the year, starting out, was changing people's mind from thinking if they met somebody who needed a commercial made, they thought of me. I knew my job was to change all the people who knew and trusted me when they heard somebody who needed to buy a house or sell their house, they thought of me. You know, if you're starting out and you don't have that network, be really intentional about where you spend your time. You go get gas. You can meet somebody who needs to buy a house. Just think that way, and you'll attract that to yourself. I think everybody likes to talk about real estate. Your job is for people to know that you are in real estate and that they will bring it up. Open houses are by far just the best thing you should do out of the gate every weekend, each day. Starting out, I did door knocking, I did mailing. I didn't get a great return, but I wouldn't change that if I was starting out again. I would door knock. It's just talking to people, getting rejected. You know, it's great experience no matter what. I'll also say that the most important thing is that your lead generation strategy is coming from a place of authenticity. You're not going to get every client in the city, but there are people out there that are going to resonate with who you are, and just figure out a way to bring value. The income is secondary. That's how I go about it, and I think that really resonates with obviously my set of people that I take care of.
My lead generation strategies in the beginning were a challenge. I actually honestly believed when I first started that lead generation was cold calling and door knocking. So I kind of stayed away from that. I was fearful, I was anxious. But over the course of the business, the things that were innate to me, networking, open houses, facilitating classes, it allowed me the opportunity to connect. And I start to see that as opportunities for lead gen. And it was far more effective for me because it was natural. Let me just go back. When I became a new agent from the time that I was in Ignite and graduated from Ignite in October, November, December, I closed with 8 transactions in just 3 months. And during that period of time, I noticed a developmental gap. And I say this to say, I was spurred to partner and collaborate with some other agents and create master classes, as well as Launch and Learns monthly to share, mindset, motivational speaking. And through this, I was able to build a community, or I was able to build a group and a network broader than myself that basically helped others in home buying and also with other agents to help build their skill sets. It has put me and set me apart from other agents. Lead gen pitfalls that I've seen agents do are just being cookie cutter, looking at a successful agent or looking at someone else and doing exactly what they do doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Scripts gave me more confidence to be able to know what to say when I was talking to certain clients. Also, there's different approaches to different questions that may be asked. So instead of looking at scripts as, oh, I have to memorize this verbatim, it was a resource to gain knowledge and definitely helped me to build confidence, even though I was not planning on using it verbatim. I've always said my purpose is to empower and to elevate others to a level of excellence. And when I meet with my clients, I want to make sure that they have enough information and they feel empowered to make the decision. How can I do that? How can I help you to make you feel that once we've made this connection, you are elevated?
With my time blocking, for the first 2 hours of every day, I would do lead generation. Sometimes it would be 4 hours if I wasn't getting the productivity that week that I wanted. And then I followed up with all of my clients. learned just lots of very successful habits to ignite. I think that a lot of new agents want to try all different types of lead generation. You're not really honing any talent in one or two different lead generation. There's all kinds of different models, but they are not made for everybody. The best lead generation model for me was my sphere. I called my sphere every day. The number 2 way that I got business and did lead generations was open house. I found for me the best way to connect to be in front of them. People I already knew that I had built a relationship with, where I had met at an open house and I had time to actually connect with them. The scripts that the Ignite program provided for me really worked because they helped me get out of my comfort zone when I was having to call everybody in my Facebook and let them know that I had transitioned job, what I was doing, and it gave me the dialogue to ask. On our team, we have picked 6 nonprofits locally that we like. And we do an event with all of those nonprofits every year. And we meet lots of new people that way. We invite all of our former clients. We invite our vendors. And then we invite the neighborhood to go door knocking for the event around the park doing this. And then we also have client appreciation. We try to do that quarterly. We'll do a client appreciation event where we invite everybody out to a restaurant and then we provide appetizers. And we just have fun. It's not necessarily a salesy event. It's just about having fun. By being out in the community, they see that we are knowledgeable about what we're doing, but we're also giving back. We care about where we live.
Our first year as a realtor, I tried just about everything in terms of prospecting and lead generation. What I found for me was that I present best when I'm face-to-face with somebody. So I really focused on open houses and then networking and getting out for coffees, making myself visible in the community, and then always making sure that I was able to speak to what was happening in the market at any time. So keeping up to date with local news and projects in and around town, I found to be very helpful when talking with people. To set myself apart from the many other agents out there, I've been utilizing video. And I find that putting the videos out on Facebook and a YouTube channel, and then even emailing them to clients really allows people to feel like they get to know you. And I've had experiences where I've talked to people on the phone and they were, especially with out-of-town investor clients, and they were not necessarily ready to go with me until I sent them a video saying hello, outlining how I could help them. It was good to have the phone call with them, etc. And the feedback I've gotten on the videos has been very, very strong. The biggest pitfalls I saw other agents having, and even fell into myself with lead generation, was not having consistent follow-up. So if I had an open house and I got some names and numbers of contacts and told them I'd be in touch with them, sometimes I would get overwhelmed and I wouldn't touch base with them in a timely manner, or to follow up on calls with somebody that had shown some interest. Making sure that you stay on top of things and follow up with your contacts is very important. Scripts are great for understanding what objections you might encounter and how to overcome those objections. What I discovered was I would learn what the foundation of the script was. What was it trying to get me to say? And then I would be able to, just by knowing that and having read it over and over and over, when I would have an objection come up, I was able to utilize those scripts, the content of the scripts, in my own words.
All right, let me hear just a couple of ahas from that, things that you guys picked up on from that.
It seems that face-to-face is the best form of getting new leads, like open houses. One person said the video, that seems to be like the best.
Yeah, well, and now, of course, we're in COVID, and so we're not operating under normal circumstances, yet there's still ways to adapt. And, you know, the funny thing is he was using video before all this. All this was filmed and put together prior to them releasing it, and they just released it, I think, in February, and they were part of it, you know. And so this is all brand new, and these people that they're going to be interviewing on these videos are mega agents all over. And so what he's saying do is probably things that you've heard before. is probably not like, gosh, I never heard of that before. But open houses and doing some videos. And now's a perfect time to explore what that is. There are realtors, you know, part of my job is connecting with top agents in our area. And I have conversations and I bring up the word Zoom and they're like, what is that? So you guys are already like cutting edge here in the Zoom class. What else, you know, how else can you stretch your knowledge right now when you have some free time to experiment? Just do some little, you know, promos on your phone. What does that hurt? You know, what would it look like if I just did a couple little introduction? I'm Tiffany Alexander. I just want to let you know, this is a market minute or whatever it is. You know, I'm Shakira Green. Just do it. You can even just do your, this is who I am. You know, in light of Mar putting out the suggestion about using social media in a certain kind of way, just remember we're not bragging, we're not flaunting, we're not saying I made $1 million or whatever the case may be, but you can still come from contribution and still introduce yourself and still have a presence out there. And right now, connecting people, we want to leverage the social media and things that we can. I know it's been on our to-do list for a long time to have a YouTube for the market center. And so that we can collect all of the things we have in one place, because oftentimes we'll maybe make a little video or do this, that, and other, and then we send it out. But by the time someone actually needs it, you know, it's kind of over here in the email. So that's part of this Ignite stuff is going to go into the YouTube channel. And as we're doing trainings and things, it's going to go be there to be a reference. And so you could do the same thing. So I've seen successful agents all over. They have a YouTube channel where they either share something that someone else has done, or they're sharing, you know, things about themselves, or a monthly market introduction, whatever that looks like. You know, one of the people talked about highlighting a nonprofit. This is something I'm passionate about. This is something that, you know, my business, I'm going to help out. You know, and if you work with me, your proceeds will also go to this. So it's just some great ideas. Let's see. All right, back to the top funnel, the prospecting, the marketing and the prospecting. So we want to be sure that we understand the difference. So marketing is money intensive, it's passive, and you're looking for long-term results. So some of the you know, we're talking about billboards as an example. That is long-term mind share. You want someone to think of you when you do that. Marketing is indirect. Again, you're attracting the leads. An example is you can also send out direct mail advertisement and leverage the material. You may have seen other agents do, or companies do, just listed, just sold, postcards, things like that. That is marketing. And then prospecting is time intensive, it's proactive, it's direct, and you are more likely to have immediate results. So it keeps you in an active versus a reactive state. It is the act of searching for your leads. It allows you to focus on proactive customer creation activities, and it will be critical in your ability to hit your numbers and when the market shifts. And where are we at right now? In a market shift. So you're in a period when marketing efforts during a shift, the billboards and the mass, you know, kind of attraction is not going to get you the results that you need, right? Because when we're in a shifting market, we need those immediate results. Why do you think it is better to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced? That's a statement in the MREA. So why do you guys think that is the case? Based on what we've talked about. Prospecting based and marketing enhanced, opposed to marketing based and prospecting enhanced. So one thing when you go ahead.
I guess because when you're prospecting, you're touching those people directly. Marketing, people see me, but they don't know me.
Right.
And I know for me, if I talk to someone first and then I see a marketing tool or a billboard or anything, I'm like, oh, okay, I've talked to them. They're really nice people. But I tend to just kind of brush by the marketing if I see that first, as opposed to meeting that person or talking to that person first.
Yeah, that it's more of a connecting the dots with that mind share. Yet if I don't ever have a conversation with you and you just see some branding or some marketing, it's not going to mean a lot to you, right? It's not a relationship.
Exactly.
And then, you know, honestly, when you first start out in real estate, the likelihood is most people come from a previous career and they're not coming with a large fund for marketing. So the billboards, the print advertising, all those things cost money. And so when you first start, you know, a lot of people mentioned open houses. Those are free or very, very cheap, even if you provide refreshments. They're very inexpensive. Door knocking is shoe leather. I mean, literally, you could do that for free. We're not doing those in person right now, yet the COVID will end. This will be over at some point. We will go back to life where we're seeing each other and we're able to do these things like door knocking and, you know, open houses and things. So when you first start, you want to look at what can I do today with limited money. I've already spent money on getting into the business. So what can I do right now to get a return so that I'm not putting out money for ads and things like that I may not see a quick return on. It's best to be prospecting based and marketing enhanced because it's cost effective. When you're prospecting based, you are having conversations just like we talked about. You're building those connections. When you're prospecting, you can determine the climate. So in a certain area. So when you're farming and things like that, you understand what's going on in that particular area because you're having those conversations. And prospecting allows you to become in tune and give you insight to who's moving in, who's moving out, and then you become that local expert. All right, so now we're going to talk about database. Now, all right, guys, we've got a little over 15 minutes before our Dr. Kevin Elko call. I'm going to jump into this, and then I've got quite a few more pages, so we'll see how that goes. So you're going into Command. Now, everybody knows how to sign into Command at this point, correct? Yep, good. So it's important you understand the reason why we have a database. The database allows you to centrally store your customer and your prospect contact information so that you can update, you can give them new notes, new details, different events and conversations. It allows you to be organized and sort based on, as we're talking about leads, as contacts, sphere of influence. You're able to categorize everybody. And it allows you a tool to nurture and manage the relationship, to track interactions, and allows you to produce leads. From the MREA, we know that a well-nurtured database will give you a 10-to-1 return, which means so every 10 people, you should get one piece of business. And that is if you're touching those people and you're in relationship. The only way that you can do that consistently is to leverage the technology and to be doing it, right? Because if we put everybody's name into Command and we never do anything else with it, it's not going to bring us a lot of return. So you have to be touching it and using it. A powerful database managed by a powerful schedule produces a predictable flow of leads. And we know that that predictable flow of leads brings you a predictable flow of business and income. So truly, I want you to think about it like this. The size of your database will determine the size of your bank account. Your database is your lifeline for business. All right, a lead. Let's review this. A lead, you have valid contact information on someone. You don't know their motivation, but you can find it out. Example, the Thompsons down the street may be thinking of buying. That's a lead. You don't really know it, but it begins that one-way communication that you can begin the relationship with. Contacts, you have implied or explicit permission to have an ongoing connection with them. You've communicated with them and they've responded. So an example is meeting someone at the grocery store. You find out you have something in common, maybe you know someone in common, you exchange contact information, and they know you're a real estate agent. So you shared your app. That's a great example. You shared your app, you got their contact information to share that with them, and you have two-way permission to have a conversation with them. So, so a lead, you can have that from neighborhood or farming, social media followers, LinkedIn contacts, Facebook friends. That's a lead. These people that all your Facebook friends, all your Instagram followers, whatever you use, Twitter, any of those things, those are leads. A contact is somebody that's your sphere of influence, family, friends, neighbors, former coworkers, teammates, anybody that you have interacted before that they know you're in real estate and you have their contact information. Okay. All right. Now, we do know from the former MREA, the original plan, the original data that we had when that was written, it was a 33 touch campaign. So we used a former technology called e-edge, and you could put people on a 33 touch. That got updated to 36, and actually now with the new data, we know it takes 19 touches to connect, to make them into a contact, and then it takes 36 to convert them to business. So how many times do you really need to be touching somebody to get business out of them? 36 and 19, that's 55. Who has Amazon Prime? Okay, I was about to say, don't lie, don't lie. How many times do you get a notification or something from them? All the time. So I'm not saying be Amazon yet. There's a reason they do that. There's a reason they go, you know what, yesterday you were looking at, for me, Paw Patrol training underpants. Do you still want those? You know, are you still looking at those Nike tennis shoes? They're going to be prompting you in that. And you know what? You're not really irritated with them because you're like, man, you know what? I was looking at that. And then you go put it in your buggy and you go buy now. They're making that convenient. But you know what they're also doing? Training us. So there's a bold law. You teach people how to treat you. So this is what we're doing. We're teaching people, we're educating them that we're in real estate. We want to help them. We're going to help them. And we're doing that through these strategic touches. We call them touches. And we're leveraging our technology to do that for us so that they either bring us business or they are business. Okay. This is part of building a business, right? So the 4 quarterly touches are, you're gonna call somebody once a quarter. So you're going to have 4 conversations with them a year. How's it going? How can I help you? What do you need? Merry Christmas. Here's what we're doing. Any of that. It can look like anything. And then you have the 12 touches with the monthly email. You can do a newsletter. You can do a blog. You can do a market report. You can do a video, but you're doing that monthly. Okay. And then the 2 personal direct email or direct mail. So you can do a magnet, you can do a calendar, you can do, again, a market report, you can do a paper newsletter, something that they can touch and manipulate. Okay. And then 1 touch is some sort of annual something, whether it's a get together, a client event, a something annually. And that's just going to get you leads those are leads. That's how you bring in leads. Okay. And then the contact, you're going to convert a contact. So again, 4 quarterly phone calls, and then you're going to do 26 touches. So a bi-weekly email of some sort of information and value to them. 2 touches of events, get together parties. Maybe you do one in the summer and one in the winter, or whatever that looks like. Some people do a pie giveaway. Hey, what kind of pie do you like? I'm going to go, and you end up going to Costco or wherever it is, it's cost effective for you. You buy a bunch of pies and you do a pie pickup, but that's a face-to-face interchange. 4 touches in direct mail. You're giving them something material so that they see you. Now, the likelihood of them taking it from the mail, and if there's a coupon, we'll get deeper into it. If there's something of value in it, they may leave it on their counter. It is eventually probably going to go to the mail. There's a small percentage of people that are gonna keep that and go, oh, Tiffany, thank you so much. You sent this postcard to me. That's mind share. That's part of that mind share. And you're just doing it a lot of different ways to make sure that they understand what you do and what value you can bring to them. All right, in your database, in Command, you can tag and look at your database through Smart Views and then Smart Plans. You put people on these plans that will let the technology touch them with birthdays, with monthly neighborhood monthly neighborhood nurtures. You can do bi-weekly neighborhood nurtures, but you got to categorize these people in how you know them, where you know them from, different things like that. So as you're adding people into your database, you can tag them, okay? You can tag them as SOI. You can tag them as social media. Maybe FB is a tag for Facebook, Insta, you know, all those. You can tag them as people that past coworkers. You can tag them as family. You can tag them as church members, as gym friends, or whatever it is that you do. If your kids play Little League sports, Little League parent, PTA, whatever those categories are, you want to make sure that if you're putting several people in there, that's how you know them as, right? So if it is the Little League, one of your events can be, oh, this is the whatever happens at Little League. I do a cookout. We bring a grill, and everybody that's here on all however many fields, I've got this many hot dogs, and I'm handing out hot dogs. I'm handing out drinks. That can be something, as long as you're collecting that information and you're communicating with them. So look at that. All right, so how many contacts are we adding to our database? Every day.
20.
20, that's right. And when we're doing that and we're having the conversations, we're making sure we have up-to-date information. If we have a phone number, we're getting that email, we're getting their home address, we're collecting the information from them so that we can then, those touches are more meaningful. You can't send out an email if you don't have somebody's email address. And it's no good to send them a neighborhood nurture if you don't know what neighborhood they live in. All right, we already talked about that. So today's activity is to get in there and do custom tags. I'll share with you guys some links in our Facebook page. I know we've got about 5 minutes to wrap up to how to do that. Some little how-to videos on how to do tags. And then how to do a smart view. The smart view is at the top of your contacts. Once you have contacts in there, there's using AI to categorize by last contacted, by alphabet. There's different ways that you can see that view. So when you have hundreds of people in there, you're not scrolling to find somebody. That if, you know, this week I'm going to call all my church members. You can put that in there and it'll pull every single person up in that. You can even pull it up by conversations. So if you notes that you put in that you said wants to buy in 6 months, that smart view, if you've done that to several people, you want to keep an eye on that so that you're calling them back in 6 months, right? Is somebody you've had an appointment with that you want to follow up. When we're doing open houses, you want to have a follow-up. You can look at someone that came in through an open house and call them and follow up with them on Monday, and, you know, to keep up with them. All right, my alarm's going off. Let's see, sales pipeline. Yes, we are seeing how quickly we can get through this. Now, in the sales pipeline, there is a category in Command under the opportunity. This is the opportunity tab, the little handshake. it's going to have the different timeline for your listings and your buyers. And it goes under appointment, active, under contract, and closed. And you'll see the little bubbles, and it'll show you how many you have under each category and the time that that person has been there. So maybe someone has been there a week, maybe somebody's been there a month, however long. If somebody's been sitting in appointment a month and they haven't been to active, there's your trouble, right? If you've had the listing appointment with somebody and you still have not listed their property in a month, that's trouble. So this sales pipeline allows you to see where you're at. And then actually at the very end of it, it shows your probable income versus your potential income versus your probable. And if you've got a bunch of people sitting in appointment and not a bunch of people sitting in closed, that number is going to be off. For instance, mine, I don't sell right now. And so what I'm doing is playing with it a lot. And I put in these fictional buyers and sellers in my pipeline to look at it and to demonstrate. And it shows I have a potential income of like 1.5 million because all my fictional people are $500,000 buyers and listings, right? And then it says my probable income is like $1,200. Now, if this is my livelihood in my business and I have the potential to make 1.5, but I'm over here at 1,200, I got to get my behind in gear and figure out how to move them through the pipeline to get that 1.5. And that's going to be the same for you guys. So you'll be able to look at your flow of income and see the potential versus the probable. And it has percentages every time you move that card over. It'll have the likelihood of you increasing your income that way. So you're going to move them, of course, just the natural progression: appointment, active, agreement. You have someone under contract, and then you're closed. Again, they go back up into the funnel. All right, smart plans. I'm going to come back and do a video just on the smart plans. It's really robust. I think there's like 55 or 65 different options in there of touches for people. So you just need to pick what works for you. And the important thing is to make sure you're using these. Okay, it even has scripts in there so that you're using these smart plans. All right, let's give me some ahas. We got about 2 minutes. Let's do some ahas.
The size of your database determines the size of your bank account.
Yeah, that's why they call it the data bank. Anybody else? Well, hey, if you think of some,
touches,
oh, go ahead.
Different touches, how many times we should touch each person? Our contact.
Yeah, it's not happenstance. It's strategic. It's purposeful. Yeah. And it's the beautiful thing about it is it's customizable. So it's not one size fits all. Yet, if you don't do it, then they're just kind of sitting over here and your income's not going to increase based on it. All right. So let's jump over here to Dr. Kevin Elko. It starts at 10. The link is in to sign up and register was in the Facebook group. And so it's probably not too late to register real quick, and then they'll send you the link over to it. I look forward to meeting with you guys in the morning at 9. 20 contacts added to your database, 20 conversations, 20 messages, meaningful messages, and then 20 previews a week. So we said that was 4 a day. So previewing the homes, knowing the market. And I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for coming here and meeting with me this morning. I'll see y'all in the morning. I can figure out this. There we go.